everybody, for joining us. I'm John Lincoln. I'm director of the Reach Performing Arts Center. I'm sitting here in the Reach talking through Zoom to Mason Woodman, who is going to be a senior this coming year. So can you tell me how you got to the program and sort of your story behind the program?
Well, in 8th grade, I shadowed Emma Plummer, who is doing your high school theater class, I think it was. I met a ton of people I never met before, Drew Wendell, Maggie, several people. And we were reading this play called The Yellow Boat about a kid who tragically dies. I think I was a doctor. I don't know. I had never acted. I walked into it, and you were explaining how to read lines, how to say things on stage. I'm thinking to myself, like, wait, I get to dress up in front of people? I'm incredibly excited. I don't, honestly, I couldn't tell you if I had any fear at the beginning. I don't remember. I probably did. Slowly went away, though, as I got more used to it. I think, trusting my director really helped, honestly. I was never going to do theater until I met you, honestly. That's how it was. So.
Well, I remember you saying it was an early rehearsal, because we were just going to have a normal class, and then we read that play, and everyone loved it so much, we decided our class would be performing that play instead.
Yeah.
Right, like we just did a stage reading for the school.
There was some people. I remember there were some people.
But it was rehearsed. Like we rehearsed for several weeks to get it ready. And I remember you reaching a point where I told you, "Oh, last time you did this thing and you didn't do it this time." And you were like, "Wait, so like we're gonna do the same way every time?"
Yeah, I do remember. I was pretty confused on that.
I was like, well, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but if you came onto the stage last time, you're going to need to come onto the stage this time.
Come on, Doc's got vacation hours. They're paid leave.
Like you say, and I don't mean this in any way as a criticism. I mean this as like a compliment. You walk in the door feeling like, I have no idea what this is. You had no sense of like what the norms are of doing a play.
Well, I've never done it.
That's what I mean. And so, but now it's been...
I was 8th grade, so that's 4 years of theater. So far under my belt.
You're like a leader in the program, and now when other people don't know what they're doing, like when your little brother doesn't know what he's doing, you're like, how could you be doing? So you've come a long way, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. Still a ways to go, I think. Still a ways to go. There's always stuff to improve when you start doing theater and you get a passion for it. You notice all the things that could be a little better, like character work and things like that. There's a lot of internal stuff you got to do to prepare for a role, which I wasn't ready for. I just thought, I mean, I was thinking I read the line like a doctor. Yeah. It didn't really, there's nothing more than that.
Sometimes it is that simple.
But I mean, when you tell me I'm now a demon with a weird past, and these are my motives, and this is my goal, and these are my powers, you have to take a step back. You have to see what you got to do, and it changes everything. And it's a really cool way to look at theatrical performances. I've never looked at it through the lens of the character before theater. I'd always just watched it like it was a movie that was lamer than a movie because it wasn't on TV. That's what a play was. I mean, there's just so much more that goes into it on a human level that I find so very interesting.
Not to, inflate your ego too much or anything, but when you were not going to do David and Lisa, which was our fall show this past year, because you had so many commitments, and I came back to you and said, like, look, there's this really heavy scene that's a monologue. The person's on stage for all of like 5 or 6 minutes, but if it's not done right, the whole second act falls apart because then David's not motivated to do what he does. And it kind of worked out, because in a normal situation, and not that size, it's so true what they say, the size of the role doesn't matter, but I would normally feel like as I was putting a casting puzzle together, I'd be like, man, I can't just put Mason on stage for 7 minutes. He's so much more valuable than that in terms of what he can do. You're welcome.
Thank you.
It worked. So it was one of those things of life working out, because we needed somebody that could come in and hit that monologue in a way that was not timid. What you're talking about in terms of like, if you just, that's not a part that you just be like, I'm just a dad. I'll read this like a dad.
For sure. I'd never done a monologue before that. I don't think.
Nothing that long. Right. Yeah.
Well, I did that. I was in your theater class that one year, and I did that. I was a king or something. I remember.
It really stuck with you.
And I tried to memorize the whole thing. I think that was my challenge to myself.
Was that once more to the breach?
Yes.
Yeah.
Other than that, the monologue that you had me do for the David's father was the first monologue I'd ever done. And honestly, I must say, I think doing monologues might be my favorite aspect of theater. just because you have to go through so many hoops in your own emotion, and you have to try and portray that. It has to come from a place that feels natural, but also is it unnatural because you're not that person. So since it's the most challenging aspect of my own theatrical experience, I'm going to just say that it's my favorite part because I love the challenge.
All right. So I grew up watching a show called Inside the Actors Studio, which was hosted by the late James Lipton. And he would ask the actors a series of questions at the end of every show. And I'm going to ask you most of those, a slight variation. So first of all, what is your favorite word?
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Is that the longest word?
I think the longest word in the world is the fear of long words, but I don't know that one.
What's your least favorite word?
Fluffy. I don't like that word, and I can't put a finger on it. I just think that it doesn't describe the phenomena of fluff very well.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, it's just a weird thing.
What interests you or excites you in terms of performing arts?
Well, I love to play the villain. I don't do that very often, but I like to play the villain, and I like the costume aspect of theater a lot. I'm not like the completely not self-conscious, but like I like to put on a show, and if it means I can put on a cool outfit that I've never worn before, whether it be a crazy black paint or a pink suit, I don't care. I'll do it because I think that it's all in the spirit of fun, and everybody knows that. And as soon as you get out of your own head, you have a lot more fun with it.
So what does not interest you when it comes to performing arts?
Getting my waterline done with eyeliner makes me have a mini seizure every time, and it, I had what was it? I had 3 of the girls out back holding my arms as one of them had my head back, and the 5th was it was awful. Also, getting my hair done. Those ladies, they're ruthless. They'll straighten it for that 60s look, but my hair doesn't get straightened. It's miserable. It's just. You gonna be okay, John?
I love it. You and Drew both went with hair and makeup.
It's
all of performing arts.
I like the costumes. I hate the hair and makeup. Let me tell you.
What sound or noise do you love?
I like the clicks of an old keyboard, I guess, would be my most satisfying sound to listen to. Like the ones with the thick key, they were a little spaced out. You had to reach like you were playing piano. Those ones. Those are good.
It's like the sound that they use for every keyboard in a movie, regardless of what.
Yes, exactly. Regardless of what kind of keyboard it is, they'll use that old-fashioned sound, and it's great.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Have you ever seen somebody just take their nail and just take a chalkboard and just go just down it? That's the worst noise ever. Hands down, I don't even understand the science of why it's so terrible.
And lastly, if you could choose any profession, what would you be?
Anything.
Anything.
You know what? For pure passion, I would probably go with a singer-musician kind of musical outlook. I mean, who doesn't want to be Kanye West? Come on. Business pays the bills, but music's been a passion of mine. So.
All right. So thank you very much, Mason. I really appreciate you sitting down and doing this.
No problem.
And hopefully I will get to see you in person sometime before 2027. So.
I'm excited for that day.
All right. Have a good one.
You too, man.
All right. Thanks, Mason. But thank you for watching. If you'd like to donate to the Reach Performing Arts Center, you can hit the link attached to this post and visit our PayPal site. You can also send a check to the Reach Performing Arts Center at 249 North Deer Isle Road, Deer Isle, Maine, 04627. Please like us on Facebook and Instagram, and hopefully we'll see you soon at the Reach.